Uh, so just a recap on New York session, both Thursday and Friday. Had a win. Had a win on Thursday, and I ended up the week on red trade. Going into Thursday, I was more bullish. I was initially on the market open. I was a bit more overall. Okay. Overall, we were more bullish on the market, of course, expecting more higher prices, considering the all-time highs. Um, when we went into the session, we had this kind of sell-off after taking London highs on Thursday, London highs and Asia highs, and we had these relative equal lows down here. This kind of looked like a clear draw. So to begin the session, I was bearish to these lows here. I wanted price to take them before any kind of long action would have occurred. On the 30 seconds, the only thing I saw was assisted set up for a short. Price took some sort of liquidity before essentially confirming short, and he went down to take those lows at around 69 to 70. So this happened here. This probably leads into my first setup of the day. It didn't take this 1 minute inverse fair value gap. It just didn't look right at the moment, so I did go into a 15-second chart, and I took a 15-second long here. Essentially, you had this initial movement, but you had this 15 minute, and there was also a 30 second fair value gap that was just sitting here on Nasdaq, and this was kind of acting as resistance. And yes, we inversed the 1 minute, but we hadn't inversed this 2 minute here yet, or this 30-second one. So essentially, even this here was a good long here entry, but I kind of went a bit early on the trade. Was a bit early here. Had this 15-second inverse trade. Took the entry around 87. Price wanted to be bullish here. Kind of made sense. You took liquidity. It was market open as well. You're already bullish, and it went with the over order flow. Essentially, took the early entry around here on the 15 minute, and I essentially just took this minor high here. It was the equilibrium of the range. I wasn't quite certain that price would go all the way back here, so essentially I took these kind of relative equal highs up here, around 23.20 on that on Nasdaq. Essentially, what we saw is we just saw that slow continuation up, and price was very bullish to the point where it just kept on going higher. The 15 minute, there was another setup. On 15 second, there was another setup around here. This high, once price broke out for another high, kind of another assisted. Just kept on continuing higher for the day. But yeah, that's kind of what I did on Thursday. Going into the next day on Tuesday or Friday, came late into the session. I wasn't there for the beginning of the session. I didn't come in until around maybe 10 a.m. New York time. Did I actually see anything? And there was nothing quite. Essentially, once I saw this kind of manipulation move here on the higher time frame, it kind of made me a bit bearish for kind of this 4 hour fair value gap that was sitting down here. It kind of made sense that that was a draw. I don't believe I took any short setup here. The main kind of movement down kind of happened without me. That main movement down happened without me. The only thing I did see later on was there was a really nice 30-second short, or 30-second inverse fair value gap around here. That was the only thing I saw that was really nice. You had an entry around here, around this 255 area, and essentially price eventually took these lows. Going into the one setup that we saw, price kind of delivered. Price delivered in this 4 hour fair value gap, and you had this 2 minute inverse fair value gap that confirmed down here. It looked like a clean long attempt for higher prices. 4 hour fair value gap, you swiped liquidity, PDRA confirmation, a very V-shaped, nice little V-shaped 2 minute inverse fair value gap, and overall price was bullish. In this case here, I don't think really the time aligns. It wasn't 10 a.m. macro, and the thing just failed, and price kept on going low. It was just a very bearish day. The only thing I'd say about this one here is time. Maybe considering the fact that it's a Friday afternoon, um, Friday afternoon or Friday morning, a bit after 10 a.m., you already had this kind of very bearish move. If you compare that to the setup yesterday, essentially, what you did is you pretty much made this move down here right at market open and you're bullish. So it kind of shows you two different kind of New York reactions, and it kind of shows you the absolute difference of time, because they're both the exact same setup, almost. It's just one happens much later, or a bit later in the day than the other. But yeah, that's my thoughts. 2 trades, 1 win, 1 loss. Not too bad. So yeah.